Hey team, let's actually now talk about getting the program down on paper and give a little bit of a look behind the curtain to the thought process I worked through while creating this program. We talked about our primaries here, okay? By movement category, right? We set up, don't think of this as a row, this is an upper body pull, lower body push, upper body push, lower body pull. We set these to the person, this was a little hypothetical, we set them and we populate them at the top of our primary block. This one with a little dot, this means primary in my shorthand, this means secondary. So this is the primary block. You see those 4 exercises, bent over row, split squat, rear foot elevated, bench press, alternating dumbbell, and RDL. For now, there's a lot going on here. Don't worry about the complementary pattern. We'll get to that. Just consider these 4 up top. Now, as we start working that, it gives us a little bit of a paint by numbers approach. And here's what I mean. I want balance across the week. So I know that this is an upper day, this is an upper day. This is a lower day, this is a lower day. I've set my primaries. Everything else from there fills in a cascading order. So instead of doing all of day 1, consider this across the week. If this is a bent over row dumbbell, that is a horizontal pull. I know that on day 3, my secondary is also going to be a pull, but I want to flip to get balance between horizontal and vertical. So if this was a horizontal pull, here you see a vertical pull. If this is a 1-leg push, here you see a 2-leg push. If this is a horizontal push, here you see a vertical push. And if this is a hip dominant pull, here you see a knee dominant pull. So within our movement tree, we've already worked to seek balance between primary and secondary across the week. Each movement pattern is represented in both of its different forms, either vertical, horizontal, or 1 or 2 leg, or hip dominant, knee dominant. That's our starting point. Now we get to work on some complementary patterns. In this scenario, I chose something on day 1 and day 4 that are like biomechanical patterns to help us with the hypertrophy effect. We talked about that in the webinar. I'm going to come back to that here in another video. On these 2 days, I chose stability because I was already targeting one of the things we talked about in the webinar in rep and a half method. We'll talk about that more in another video, but here, stability. So across all 4 of these days, I chose to throw mobility to make sure we still help people work on achieving new positions and earning prerequisites for proper movement patterns. So that is our complement for all of our secondary. Our next block down here is our rotational block. I always want to remember every human being is a rotational being. We don't just need to think of golfers and baseball players. When I walk, it takes a degree of rotation. There's a huge value proposition in including rotational programming into your session. So I've given a dedicated block to it in this example. And here you'll see rotational stability across the top that comes in the way of body control or external force, being something to the effect of an anti-rotation press or a plank with arm lift. And across the bottom, it comes, albeit through external force, all with a vertical drive, but with propulsion forward, gives me a rotational stability all through weighted carries, either overhead carries or suitcase carries, or farmer's walk 1-arm carry. Then we get our auxiliary blocks. Now I'm going day by day, so I fill everything in. So watch here. I could choose to do the same movement, or like in terms of movement pattern, base movement. This is horizontal pulling. I could have chosen horizontal here if I really wanted to get at the same tissues on that day and know that I balance it out on day 3, or I can do the opposite. I chose opposite here. So again, just working day by day. That is a horizontal pull here, pull downs, vertical pull here. This is a overhead press, vertical push, push-ups, horizontal push. We come over here, we see some more. Split squat, 1 leg, squat with mini band, 2 leg, right? So we start working through these things to try and create some balance as we work. We don't have to be perfect. If we are balanced across the whole week in primaries and secondaries, and for the most part here, I like to call auxiliary your wild card. So you can see here, we actually have leg curls on a stability ball to further chase those leg curl partner assisted, essentially glute hams or Nordic hamstrings or Russian leans, whatever name you know them by in our system, leg curl partner assisted. That's the same, not different. I broke my rule a little bit there, but we did that intentionally, okay? Over here, we go back to the original rule, horizontal, vertical, vertical, horizontal. And on this day, remember, I wanted something that was more pull dominant here. You see this glute bridge, leg curl, glute bridge, this heavy pulling focus here. It was to earn me the right to smoke your quads a little bit more, anterior chain. You notice this is very push dominant. Okay, and this is a little bit of a leg circle. We'll talk about that more as we call out each individual piece. The key here, though, is think of your auxiliary as a little bit of a wild card. You do not have to be exactly perfect, but if you put a dedicated approach toward balancing movement patterns in primary, secondary, having appropriate complementary patterns, rotational work in, you've hit balance between one leg, one arm, two arm. You've hit all of these concepts, you gain more freedom in the auxiliary. But hopefully that gives a little bit of a look at how this paint by numbers approach, all that came by saying here's 4 movements. And by caring about the movement pattern, plugging those into the primary and beginning to seek balance from there.